for her beautiful talk last week. Shelley spoke about this phenomenon in modern life called decision fatigue. Anybody? And she gave us tools to navigate that, and she talked about making healthy choices for our lives and how that is deeply connected to our spirituality. You know, we talk around here all the time about this idea that we truly are always at choice. Are we going to make the healthy choice, the loving choice? Are we going to react out of anger, fear, or guilt? Or are we going to respond from a place of curiosity and openness and love? And so I want to continue that conversation that Shelley so beautifully began last week, looking at one particular aspect of decision-making that we all have every day. So I'd like to begin by inviting you to think of a time in your life, maybe recent or in the past, when you experienced some form of extraordinary art. Maybe it was a piece of music or a concert. I know there are Swifties in here. Whatever it might be. Or maybe it was a dance performance or the ballet. Or maybe it was at a museum of art and a piece of art just moved your soul. Maybe it was a theater performance or a movie performance, and you felt the divinity in it. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? You felt the divinity in it. You felt the presence, capital P, the presence of something greater. Well, that presence that you felt in that moment, experiencing that piece of art, that presence is divine love, or God's love, or source love. That feeling is divine love, or God, or spirit, whatever word works for you, moving through that artist, a channel of the divine, if you will, that then pours through to you. It's like the gift that keeps on giving, right? And you felt God or spirit or source in that particular piece of art. Through that artist, you felt spirit in that moment. So, in 2007, one of the greatest violinists on the planet, Joshua Bell, who is now the music director of the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields in London, participated in an experiment with the Washington Post. He wore a baseball cap and he played as an incognito busker at the Metro subway station in Washington, D.C., and the experiment was videotaped on hidden camera. That day in the subway, Joshua Bell himself played for nearly 45 minutes. Do we have a picture of that, John? There. So, there's Joshua Bell, the violinist, and there he is in the subway with the baseball cap, incognito. He played for 45 minutes in the subway. 1,097 people passed by him, and only 7 people stopped to listen to him. And only one person recognized him. He collected $32.17. Excluding the $20 bill from that one person who recognized him. And just 3 days earlier, Joshua Bell played to a sold-out concert hall, earning a massive amount of money, playing the exact same repertoire. I have had the great fortune to see Joshua Bell in concert. Maybe some of you have. He was here years ago in Oregon. Oh, my Lord. Talk about divine love moving through that man. And perhaps like some of you who may be watching the Olympics right now, there's this collective feeling of the experience of the divine, right? When they stick the landing, or make it to the finish line, whatever that is, it is divine love experienced by the collective through that athlete or through the musician. The thing is, we often miss this kind of divine love. We walk right past the Joshua Bells in the subway. We miss the divine love that is always at work through each other, on behalf of each other, people we know and people we do not know. The title of my talk today is called Divine Love is Right Here. And this is a great reminder for me, for all of us. Divine love is right here. It's right here. Yeah. All the time. But how often do we miss it? How often do we, like the 1,097 people in the metro subway back in 2007, miss it? I know I have. Jesus of Nazareth said, "It is not I, but the Father," or to use non-gendered language, the Spirit within that doeth the work. It is not I, but Spirit within that doeth the work. Jesus was explaining there in that moment that we co-create, every single one of us, we co-create with the divine spirit that is within us. We are the vehicles, every single one of us, for this love on the planet. And this is true not just for the Joshua Bells and the Simone Biles of the world, this is true for every single one of us. Every single one of us. Sometimes recognizing divine love showing up through an artist or an athlete is just simply easier because, it's bigger and it's shinier, right? So that's why I'm using that example today. But the fact is, the very same divine love is through each one of us in our own unique ways, big and small. Every single one of you expresses spirit or love in only the way that you can. In only the way that you can. And that's a gift for all of us if we pay attention. In 1926, the extraordinary mystic Ernest Holmes wrote, "If we look at love long enough, we shall become lovely, for this is the way of love. God is love. If we seek the divine in humanity, we shall find it and be entertaining angels unawares." If we seek the divine in humanity, we shall find it and be entertaining angels unawares. Every single one of you is an angel. Every one of you. An angel incarnate as a human being here on the planet, to share this divine love. And this, I will tell you, for us on a spiritual path, there is a spiritual practice in this for us, my friends, to make the conscious decision to seek out the divine in your world, to decide to stop and listen to the music being given to us by another human being in a subway, or to decide to slow down and engage the exhausted person behind the counter, or to stop and engage the elder sitting alone on a park bench. This is our work. This is our holy work, and it's not hard. It's not difficult to say, "Well, hey, how you doing? Is this seat taken? Do you have a minute?" It's not hard to say to the person across the counter, "How you doing? How much more time do you have? Are you almost done?" "All right, you got this." How hard is that? And yet we forget. That person behind the counter is an angel. That person sitting on the park bench is an angel. And we get to recognize that and lift them up in the moment. And in doing this, we recognize in real time the divine relationships that we are here to cultivate, even if it's for 2 minutes. And then we experience more joy and more happiness. We're in our phones. Let's put our phones down. Let's look up. Anybody? Yeah. And make no mistake, my friends, joy is a powerful thing. It is medicine for the soul. Divine love masquerades as joy. It also shows up in our courage, in our grief, in our righteous anger, and in our creativity. But today I want to connect the dots between the joy we experience, big or small, and really understanding that it is rooted when we experience any kind of joy in God, in divine love, in source energy. I was thinking about this week, and I was laughing out loud as I was watching my television, and I thought to myself, I wonder if the Harris Walls campaign has a metaphysician or a New Thought minister consultant on their team. But it's a great example of this. It's a great example of this. Instead of the politics of fear and divisiveness that we have become so used to, this week, holy moly, Harris and Waltz, the campaign trail, they decided to choose joy. And look what happened. There was a palpable shift in our country. There is so much work to do, don't get me wrong. But their decision to choose joy was a New Thought metaphysical decision. They decided to turn away from that which they don't want and turn towards that which they do want in an incredibly authentic way, using humor, and it was extraordinary to watch. How wise and magnificent that spiritual choice, whether they know it or not, is. How refreshing. Joy is our birthright, my friends. Joy, no matter what you're going through, is our birthright. The poet Mary Oliver wrote, "Joy is not made to be a crumb." That is so good. Joy is not made to be a crumb. It is our birthright. Joy, real joy, is often a radical choice. Joy is often a radical choice. And if you are in a place right now where the idea of joy feels like a faraway country, I want you to know that you are not alone. We've all been in that place, and we get it, don't we? We get it. My suggestion, if you are in a place that feels like a faraway country, is to be gentle with yourself and to start small, baby steps. You might ask yourself, what little things can I do that I know will bring me joy? That first cup of coffee or tea in the morning, reruns of my favorite TV show, or maybe when you sit in that particular chair and you draw or you knit. Whatever it may be, maybe it's cuddling with a fur baby. Whatever it is, God, Spirit, Source is right with you, actively moving through you as you experience those moments of joy. If you can, in the moment, as you're knitting or cooking or whatever it is that's bringing you joy this week, just stop and just say, whoa, this is God right now. This is Spirit or Source or whatever word you like. This is the universe showing up on my behalf. It changes everything. It brings the unconscious conscious. It allows us to recognize that we are always co-creating with Spirit. We're not in this alone. We are always being accompanied by the Comforter, by divine love itself. And this divine love is always with you in every step of your journey, wherever you are on your journey. And there are some interesting journeys right now. There's a lot going on. This is a very interesting time to be alive. Have you noticed? Thank you, Helen. And there are many things in our world right now that are competing with our focus. This is why Shelley's talk last week was so impactful. Decision fatigue. There's so many things that are competing for our focus. And if we are not mindfully boundaried about where we are placing our energy, we can end up feeling very off balance. Anyone? Maybe just me? Yeah. We get to be really mindful of where we're placing our energy. Many of you know that in this community, we are currently engaged in a mindful daily spiritual practice called My Election Intention, which is supporting us during this time leading up to the election so that we can, in the midst of all of it, stay centered and stay in the place of love and remember joy and not get caught up in the division, but rather to stay aligned in our oneness. And if you haven't yet signed up, it's free. You get a daily recording from a teacher or minister in our movement. Just text join. I listened this morning. It was Tracy Brown. I love that woman. So this is just one small thing. And it comes on your voicemail at like 6 a.m. You can listen to it anytime, or you can go on the website later and listen to the recording. And if there was one that specifically supported you, they're 2 to 3 minutes. It's like nothing. What a great way to sit with your cup of coffee in the morning. Yes? Isn't that a fantastic thing? I'm so thankful for this. So for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, let's say, or maybe you're just kind of brand new or newish around here, I want to let you know that New Thought communities just like ours, exist all over the country and in many countries around the world. And the main sort of organization, that we call it home office, if you will, is called the Centers for Spiritual Living, and it's headquartered in Colorado. And for example, they create the curriculum for the practitioner training, and the ministerial school or seminary is under their umbrella, and they provide resources for our communities, all kinds of things. Well, on Tuesday of this past week, the community spiritual leader of our entire movement, Reverend Dr. Sunny Cantrell Smith, shared a recording, and it was on this very subject of love during this election season. And I just thought I would read an excerpt of it because it was so concise, so perfect. And this, again, is an excerpt. Rev Sunny said, "Love is a profound and encompassing force that transcends boundaries and unites us all. We can harness the power of love by making choices that reflect our deepest values and aspirations for a just and equitable society." She continued, "By casting our ballots with a heart full of love, we contribute to creating a world that works where every individual is valued and collective well-being is at the forefront of our democracy. We can use love as a prayer for our country and our elected leaders. We can envision a future filled with harmony, understanding, and mutual respect. Let our love be a foundation of our actions and our intentions, creating ripples of positive change that reach out to every corner of our society." And she ended by saying this, "In this way, love becomes not just a feeling anymore, but a powerful force for transformation and healing in our world. And together, in this, we create a world where every individual is valued and love guides the way in a world that works for all." That's who we are. That's who we are as a spiritual community. Just arms open, hearts open, ready to roll up our sleeves and do the work of love. So we get to decide to pay attention and look for ways that Spirit shows up in the other people around us, in all of the art, in the sports, in all the things. And in this, there is a healing balm of joy. We can choose to see Spirit in anyone, no matter what their political affiliation is. We can choose to see the love at the center of their being. Are you with me? We can choose that. This is the holy work. This is the sacred work that we're here to do. So divine love shows up in every kind of relationship. My childhood best friend is named Lonnie. And she lives in New York City, and actually Brooklyn now. She lives in Brooklyn. And she became a mother a little bit later than I did, and she has a young teenager, so she's in a different stage in her life. Like you, Faith, our youngest, Liza Rose, we're moving her into the college dorm next week. Oh my God. It's wild. So Lonnie's in a different stage in her life, and, so we don't get to talk with each other that often. We share Instagram posts and, on social media, and we text and DM, et cetera. And when we do connect, think if you have a person like this in your life. When we do connect, it's like no time has gone by. Do you know people like that in your life? No time has gone by. What a gift that is. Why? Because we knew each other when we were young children, and there's this instantaneous soul remembrance of the truth of who we are. Lonnie knew me when I was 8 years old, and life hadn't yet attempted to dim my light yet. I hadn't yet experienced the amnesia of not enoughness that life can bring. Lonnie knows my heart, and I know hers in the most pure form. And even in the briefest of DMs or text exchanges, that divine love is felt so deeply, like there aren't enough emojis to show her how much I love her and appreciate that she knows the real me before any of the crap. She knows the real me, the 8-year-old me. And while Lonnie and I no longer spend Saturdays on our bikes having all kinds of adventures in our neighborhood, our relationship, which of course has naturally changed over time, still feels like home to me. Because when I'm in her presence, even if it's over the phone or Zoom, she reminds me of my soul. She knows my light. And it's a divine relationship that lives in my heart and always will. It's a God thing. The light of divine love never diminishes. This is my point. The light of divine love never goes out. It never diminishes. The relationship itself may change over time, but that divine love is never extinguished. That moment when you connect with that friend, that's God too. That's Spirit too. It's right there reminding you of the truth of who you are, reminding you of the love that you are. So, this week, I invite you to get really curious and notice the divine love that is showing up around you through art and sports and through people you know and the seeming strangers who are actually angels. I invite you to consciously seek out that which brings you joy, even in the smallest way. Again, it's medicine for your soul. This practice of seeking the joy will sustain all of us during this time and remind us of our never-ending, always and forever connection to God, to Spirit, to Source. And finally, I invite you to remember your soul light in the very same way that Lonnie knows mine. I invite you to think back when you were young and you experienced pure love. Whatever your childhood may have been like, I guarantee there are moments where you can hold to divine love occurring without even knowing what it was called. Bring your childhood wisdom and light and love to meet who you are today. And allow it to help you to remember who you truly are. And that divine love is always, always right here.